Razzle dazzle. Razzle dazzle. Yeah. Yeah, y'all. And you don't stop. Hey. Yeah, y'all. And it don't stop. Yeah, y'all. Wake up. What up, Beck? We finna get into it. What up, Jeff? What up, Kansas? What up, ISIS? Man, spin the block on this. They about to regulate that. Man, we finna get into it. Like, real talk, man. I'm waiting for all of my my socials to pop up. Beck, I know you tripping out there, man. New York is everything we talked about, bro. What up, Jeff? Everything we talked about, Beck, over the past year now, people are starting to see it. How crazy is that? How crazy is that the eyes are opening of the people? What up, everybody on TikTok? I see y'all. What up, Donald? In Miami, that's what's happening. Yo, pop in. We about to get started. It is Wednesday, November 16th here in Atlanta. It is 40 degrees. Yeesh. 40 degrees, man, with the high of, looks like 47, man. Man. Yeah, man. Beck says people are dropping like flies. Jeff's at the gym. I see you. Yeah, man, I probably hit the gym a little bit later, man. What up, Sassy? I see you on my YouTube channel. I see everybody checking in. Right now, Beck, Jeff, I'm broadcasting on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. So when you guys see me, I got 3 different cameras going and whatnot, but it's a multicast, and I see all my people checking in on Instagram. We got over 150 people on Instagram right now, and usually that number grows throughout the day, or it it kind of just does what it does. 45 degrees in Las Vegas, 73 in Miami. I do envy you right now, Jeff. I do envy you. I'm using Ecamm for a majority of the heavy lifting, but I got 2 phones running. You guys on Instagram, you guys on TikTok, and the multicast up top. So, man, today, it was hard to sleep last night. Now, I know you guys, I know, right? I thought about adding that to the mix, you know what I'm saying? I do. Jeff, I need to do Restream through Ecamm, and I could probably do 30 different joints at one time, you know what I'm saying? But I have not signed up for all those different places. I want to shout out to all my people. I see Mary, I see you, Tashi, I see you, Trina, all my people over on TikTok, I see y'all. And we need to. Today, the conversation is really crazy. So for everybody who's expecting my special guest to come on, we've decided to move it to Sunday because I want to go over some things with them before I bring them to the show. What up, Miss Michelle? I see you. I want to bring them on the show, and then we're going to have a really good conversation. Jeff said, let's get on a call. Yep, let's do a webinar Yep. All right, I'm down with that, man. I think we need to do that to expand the conversation and get people, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, marketing for brands and the whole 9. So check it out. Yeah, I wear yellow sometimes. Tasha, get off me, man. So the culture of the live, right? The culture of the live on Instagram is, you know what I'm saying, make sure you guys are sharing the room. That's big important. Hit the like button as much as possible. And if you feel compelled to, buy those badges or whatever and support the live. I appreciate that, Beck. Before I even said it, Beck bought the first badge. I appreciate you. On TikTok, y'all know what to do. Hit the like button, share the live as much as possible because that's how we bring people into the room. And then also, if you guys feel compelled to, hit that gifting or Cash App. And same thing on YouTube and Facebook and those places. YouTube, when you jump on, go ahead and super chat, super like, or Cash App, whatever, to support the channel, but share the live. So check this out. Tough day yesterday, man. Just learning some new information. I don't know if I want to go forwards or backwards with what I want to talk about because it all is really tripped out right now. I kind of put it, Mary, I appreciate you for the Cash App. Listen, if I talk to y'all, man, there's a thing that we did, right? Back when we were on Clubhouse real heavy, we used to talk up to these people, and there was a big conversation. I appreciate that, Ms. Michelle, she loves my shirt. There's a big conversation about cryptocurrency, right? And I was listening, and I'm always, you guys know how I think, man. I'm a very logical thinker. I don't have wild thoughts and be all over the place. But on this cryptocurrency thing, I don't know if y'all heard this yet. It's been bubbling underneath the radar. One of my biggest concerns about cryptocurrency, over a year and a half ago, Beck, one of my conversations about cryptocurrency was this. At some point, they're going to use it against us. At some point, cryptocurrency, what's up, Vikes? Cryptocurrency is not going to be this unregulated, you don't know where we were ostracized for talking about this stuff. Ms. Michelle, don't be trying to buy my book, just buy the book. But the crypto joint, listen, Tashi, when they was talking about this cryptocurrency stuff, right? They were the big hype. This was my thing. The big hype was nobody would know. It'd be anonymous money. And I thought that was cool. I was like, cool. That's going to be cool until it's not. You know what I'm saying? That anonymous conversation is only going to last so long. Now, I don't know if y'all knew this. What up, K-Neil? I see you. What y'all have not tuned into and what they had bubbling under, there was an executive order. Y'all ain't heard nothing about this, have you? An executive order signed yesterday or the day before. There's an executive order around cryptocurrency where now they are about to, they being the government and governments, not government. Listen, the biggest letter in that whole thing is that S I just put on the end of it. The governments are joining together and they're going to do a global cryptocurrency. Now, why is this a problem? Why is this a problem? If ever in life you had a fear of control from those who are outside of your family, for those who are who don't have your best interest at heart on a singular level, they have this global mapping that they're doing in terms of control. Imagine this, and you ain't even got to imagine it. As much as we talk trash about the Asian, Japan and China and all those kind of places, or China more so than anything, we are mimicking China in almost every aspect of the game. China has so much control over their citizens, and it starts with the money. They are very digital over there, right? So imagine this, and I thought about this. These were the conversations we were having back then, and people were like, no one will ever find out. And ironically, almost a year ago, I rang the bell on the fact that it was going to change because Canada was the first one to start poking into people's cryptocurrency. Canada, of all places, was digging into how to control and how to be involved into people's cryptocurrency. So if, in fact, and I don't, and I'm not what I'm saying, I just want to put it out there so y'all can look at how things kind of happen, right? If, in fact, we enter into this thing where now they know how much money you have in the bank at all times, because this is what you have to understand. They know how much money you have. Right now, you can put money in your pockets. You good. You can go to the store. You can buy stuff. You can take cash out of your bank. Well, you can't take a whole lot of cash out of your bank account. Y'all do know after you take out anything over $10,000, yep, they'll control what you buy, what you eat, what you drive. Crypto is the enemy. We've been saying this. That was Beck on Instagram. We've been saying this, that this cryptocurrency is it. They made it seem sweet because they know how much we want our individualism. They made it seem sweet because they know how much we want to control our something. We just want to control something that's ours. Well, the only thing you can control right now is that money that you take out of the bank. But if you try to take anything out over 10,000. Over 10,000. Yep, Brittany, that was kind of the start of it, right? Where they said anything over $600 is going to alert things. But I wouldn't be too afraid of that, right? Because you still got to make moves. But in the same regard, cash is king. Always have been. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that cash is king. So when you I can't click on links, Isis. So when you are able to go to the bank and you pull money out and get that cash and put it in your pocket, they don't know what you're doing with it. It makes them nervous because they can't control that. They can't control what you're doing with the cash that's in your pocket. So if y'all don't understand, it's all a control play, right? And I meant to write that. What's the other thing? I got to write something else down real quick. The control play The control play is everything. That's all they want to do. So if they can control your money, they can control the conversation. This is why we were talking about what we were talking about before. What's up, DJ Dub? This is why I've been on y'all so much about Black History Month and showing the power of the black dollar. What up, Letitia? What up, Reed? Digital is rental. It's not yours and can be blocked if connected to the internet. Exactly. So if they control the dollar, that means they control access to food. Which is the number one thing, which is why y'all. I'm sorry, y'all got me going off on this right now. Access to food, and guess who? And now I'm tying up the shoelaces for y'all so y'all can see this a little clearer. If they have access to the control of the food, well, guess who's just been buying up all this farmland? Guess who's been trying to control all the food? One of the same people I think helped narrate this whole pandemic situation. What are we talking about? There's a person out there of extreme wealth that none of us like because his father was so involved with Planned Parenthood that, you know what I mean, that is buying up farmland left and right, that is championing Event 201, that is championing all of this bull crap that's been going down the pipeline. What up, Trini? They've been a part of it. And people I admonished this person to the umph degree. I don't know why anybody will hold this person in any kind of high regard. But this person, how is a computer person so involved in the social aspects of our lives? They got a voice in everything that's going screwy. They got a hand in all this screwiness that's going on. His father was the one who introduced Planned Parenthood, right? What is Planned Parenthood? Y'all know what it is. It's the thing that they just overturned right now. Let me tell you how hypocritical these situations are right now. What up, Joetta? Let me tell y'all how hypocritical it is. We have went through and this is why you can't trust the news, right? So the news is trying to tell you right now that we just surpassed 8 billion people on Earth, right? And you say to yourself, how we got 8 billion people when we just had a pandemic for 2 years that was taking everybody out the box, if we go by the numbers that they were purporting. Y'all remember they were saying there were ridiculous amounts of people that passed away during the pandemic. Trini said she getting up out of here. She on the next thing smoking. Do y'all understand that? They tried to tell you, this is why you gotta watch it. You know what I'm saying? Yep, exactly, Didi. We went through a period of 2 years of people dropping off the face of this earth and still doing it. And they gave you these ridiculous numbers. And I kept fighting these numbers. Beck and I on Clubhouse was in rooms fighting these numbers. A lot of us were standing in the fold saying, does that make sense? Because that's one of my best sentences. That's what I promise you. One of my best sentences that I've been able to use and cultivate is, does that make sense? Because that's what you got to start saying to yourself. Does that make sense? That they don't tell us that we grew while they purported all these death numbers. How is that possible? How do you drain water out of the tub but it's filling up? How's that possible? Yeah, DDT, they slipping. But the problem is they're the ones with the microphone and they're preying on your short-term memory. I've been telling you guys from day one, remember, write things down, take screenshots, keep some of this stuff. What up, Sharice? They are preying on your short-term memory. It's the hot tool of the hour right now. They're praying that you don't remember. What up, Rodrigo? They're trying to act like the pandemic didn't happen and we're growing. Is that possible? Ask yourselves that. How do you get to 8 million people while you just said 2 billion people died? When you said all these people, remember they were saying that everywhere around the country, nobody was living. Italy was the first that had all these people dropping. America had all these people dropping and all these people talking all this crazy stuff to the point where they shut down things. Perry said pandemic babies. Everybody was at the crib getting it in. Yeah, they be straight lying, Latanya. So that's one of those things that also goes in hand. So I'm saying, like, listen, that's why we got to do our due diligence. That's why you got to keep your eyes open, but you can't forget. Thank you, everyone needs a Jill. You have to remember everything they said and did, because if you don't, It's not going to be in the history books that they lied about these numbers. These statistics will not show up in the history books. These clips will not live in forever. So you got to take those clips. You got to remember those clips. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to remember that. Yep, they want you to have cognitive dissonance. That's what they want. They want you to, because you're not dealing with it, they want it out of sight, out of mind, and they don't want it to be a part of the conversation. Yeah, you got to keep this stuff. Like, the coolest thing about the posts and everything like that, I back up my phone pretty regular. And when I back up my phone, all those clips that I've created, all those posts that I made are stored in my computer. So I don't forget. Sometimes I go through and I be like, dang, that's what I was on there. Oh, they must have been, you know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah, I remember that. Like, you have to remember those things. Yeah, you got to have them because you keep those numbers because you have those conversations. I got the CDC screenshots of all the deaths for all the illnesses. Latanya, I did the same thing. When all this stuff was going on, yep, of course not. It's his history, not ours, collectively. Yep. When this whole thing was going on, I was the same way, jumping back and forth between the CDC conversation because I wanted to see what the CDC was saying, on a regular basis about those numbers, and those numbers just kept going crazy. And I'm like, who's authorizing this? Now, I don't know if y'all knew this, and when we talk about lying, I'm talking about this. Police officers are allowed to lie to you. Legally, they can lie to you to get a conviction and do whatever they wanted to do. So if they can lie to you, if the people that are supposed to protect and serve can lie to you, it's nothing for a Fauci, it's nothing for a CDC, for anybody to tell these stories. We knew Dr. Fauci was lying. We knew it. But collectively, this is the issue. We're so divided that we can't be together on just the damn common sense things. For the things that make sense, we can't even come together. That is troublesome as we move forward throughout this life. You cannot be in a situation where you're getting the information and you're not using it effectively, where you're not letting it shape you, where you're not doing the research. Research. That's everything, man. Digging in and looking at things for how they are. That's everything. I am just a person who's going to give you the information and do my research as well. Yep. And then say to you guys, come on, man, chip in, man, do your part. Light the fire too. It's cold in here. Everybody light the fire. Pull out some matches or a lighter and light this joint up. Latanya, I was right there. The flu and pneumonia stats disappeared the whole pandemic. So did cancer and everything else. I was like, yo, where are all these other things that have been affecting us for all these years? Because the numbers have dropped off. They're not the same. Things are not what they are. What are you doing? They won't show flu because this is the new flu. You know what I'm saying? And I said that then. I said, this is the new flu. So they're swapping out things. They've turned it up a notch and said, this is more potent than the flu. People are more afraid of this than the flu. Let's make all this money off of this. Matter of fact, we don't even need you. Remember how they used to try to get you to go to the, I knew something was crazy when they tried to get everybody to go to, you could go to Kroger and get a flu shot. Come on, man. Kroger? Now you can just go anywhere and anybody can bust you with a needle in the arm? Really? That's how I knew something was up. The minute they started saying free and Kroger's, I was like, yo, y'all tripping. There's no way I'm going to Kroger to get a shot. I have to go to a doctor that I trust in order to do that. And then we got to have a conversation. What this supposed to do, doc? Oh, it's going to help me if I get sick. Well, I don't even get sick like that. I'm straight. I might get a raspy throat like I got right now or something like that, but I'm cool. I ain't got to do that. But those things dropped off the face of the earth and they want you to forget about it. Like the conversation is mum's the word now. Guess who you don't see in the news like that anymore? Do y'all remember there was an individual you saw on TV every 1 to 2 days, and that was Dr. Fauci? Why is he no longer part of the conversation? They were firing him, getting rid of him. And he was like, remember he made that threat? I think he said if Donald Trump became president, he was going to exit. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Let me surprise you all. Let me segue into the next part. Donald Trump for president. How about that? Donald Trump. Yeah, Dr. Fauci got out of Dodge. Everyone needs a Jill. He got out of Dodge. And yes, Donald Trump just said yesterday he's running again. Reed said they released an article in the middle of the pandemic that said the climate change kills about 10 million a year. He said they did a flu rebrand. Yeah, man, it's crazy. You know what? I don't want. Let me write that down too. Because he just triggered something else that came up as well. And you about to see that coming to the conversation. I be writing down everything now, yo. I used to write nothing down, but I gotta write stuff down when I'm talking to y'all because y'all be saying some dope stuff and it be steering my conversation a little bit. Trini said, I'm a doc and I refuse to take the shot for over 28 years, the flu shot. And Fikes says she think he's gonna win. What up, Demetrio? Fikes thinks, I believe Donald Trump is gonna win too. You know what I mean? I know I'm gonna make some. So funny. I have so many notes from these last few years, and it's necessary, Jill, because they're gonna call you. They're gonna do what they've been doing all this time. They've been calling people like you, Jill, myself, and others who don't run away from the conversation. They call you crazy. They call you conspiracy theorists. What up, Kings? I don't mind that. Like, I really don't mind the label conspiracy theorist because I tell people Moses was a conspiracy theorist at one point too. Now, I know a lot of y'all have issues with Trump being president. I would say to you, you have to stop being a person who says, oh, no, not that, and understand what your options are potentially. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really look at this whole thing like, at what point did we seem to be a bit more stabler? Like, y'all voted for, y'all. I gotta include myself embarrassingly. I helped vote Biden in. I am embarrassed by that, and I'm sorry. I am sorry for my contribution in voting in the current president. If y'all look at his behavior, you should be appalled as well. If you look at some of the way he's managing the seat that he's in, y'all should be embarrassed. I'm sorry. This is all I think about is, this the dude I voted for? And I only did it out of peer pressure, and I never moved like that. If I have a regret regarding anything political, it's the fact that I voted for that guy. Knowing that I shouldn't have, based off of all the information. What up, Chrissy? I voted for the person who put the crime bill. You're right, DDT. This person put the crime bill in so long ago. Nobody said this, right? And I'm saying it now so y'all can understand. The best thing that you could have done was voted somebody who was of the people and not a person who has been governing the people for all this time and never made a difference. Yeah, Trini, you know what? Trini said, I didn't vote for him nor Kamala, and she's my soror. Like, that's how I feel, right? Based off the history of their actions in the offices that they held, they were embarrassing, bro. Like, they really, really didn't support anything that I would have supported. If y'all do not go back, and we all should have did this. We all were so stupid if you voted for Biden and Kamala because of this. When they were debating one another, they were telling the truth about one another, and it was horrible. Please go back and watch Kamala debate Biden and listen to everything she said about that man, because it was all true. Thank you, Reed. Reed on YouTube said, first time voting, and it will be for Trump. Hate to say it, but better than career politician. Boom. I don't think he divided us. I think he exploited a certain sector of us. He didn't divide us. We knew those people existed, Sonny. We knew that there were racist people out there, or that people that didn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing that y'all don't realize. He did not make racists. He just exploited them. Think about it. Those people were always there. Yeah, Red Bay. I'm sorry, y'all, but I am advocating for Trump. I'm sorry. I am sorry. Trump did not make racists. Please stop trying to say that he was the one who made racist people come. He didn't do that. But he did exploit the hell out of them. He did use them for his position, and he said he was going to do that. This is the crazy part. Everything he said, he did. I didn't say whether he was racist or not. He's good for the country. Yeah, he said they ain't coming after him. Although they were coming after him. At first, they weren't coming after Trump because he was doing what they were asking. But, man, he was throwing so much stuff in there. Yeah, I got to apologize to that girl because the race was so close that if I advocated correctly, then we would have been all right. Yeah, DJ Dub, do y'all remember that? This dude said, if you're not black if you don't vote for me. Do y'all remember that? Come on, man. That's right, Fikes, on Instagram. Trump told us everything he was going to do and did it. He said years before, do y'all remember this? Do y'all remember he said he was going to run for president, but he said he was a Democrat at that point. And he said, I can't win as a Democrat because I got to be a Republican because they're stupid. Y'all don't remember that? Do y'all remember he said it? And then he did it. He switched over and did it. No, Sonny, listen. Sonny, if you don't think that those were crisis actors, Sonny, you're missing it. That was planned. That January thing, the timing of it, everything was planned in order to make sure he could not run again. Do you think about that? The campaign against this president once he got out of office has been the most ridiculous campaign I've ever seen in my life. That's right, Tausch. He said he had to be Republican to win. Have y'all ever seen a president leave office to the kind of fanfare that he received? You would think that he went out and shot a bunch of people. You would think he went out and done something really, really crazy, but he didn't. He is not responsible for those idiots showing up to Florida. Showing up on the White House lawn. You know who's responsible? Everybody who knew it. If all those people could know it, check this out. If all those people had known to show up at that rally, wouldn't the FBI, the CIA, the Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, and all those, if he knew it, didn't everybody else know it too, Sonny? This is the part where y'all got to understand. Wouldn't he, saying this out loud, alert everybody? Wouldn't travel sales go up? Wouldn't you see more people matriculating to the? If so, why? What up, Chuck? If all these people, we got one of the best intelligence agencies in the world. All the 3-letter agencies knew, and no one showed up. Let me tell y'all something. Do y'all remember what the Million Man March looked like? I want to know do any of y'all know what the Million Man March looked like? It was paved with law enforcement all across the board. Yeah. It was paved. It was so much security, it made no sense. So where was the security? You know what, y'all? If y'all watch the videos, which I know a lot of y'all don't, which they hope y'all don't do. What up, LA? If y'all don't watch that stuff, yeah. Joetta said Trump sent security to other places. Really? I don't know how that's possible when inside of Washington is one of the most where there's the most security. What are we saying? He can't send everybody away from Washington. If anything, he sends those that are closest. True stuff, Greg. Bro said, Greg on TikTok said, bro, what's crazy is we're racist against one another. He's a businessman and our world is it's a business. But even with that, I don't know if any of y'all paid attention to it, but I did. I was like, why are they attacking him like this? And I was like, wait a minute. If y'all don't realize that he stepped outside of the box and he was not a politician, like he stepped out and was doing things that was was not policy. He was alerting American people of some different things that he shouldn't have alerted people. Like him, and y'all know how it worked, right? This is how they crack the whip and try to get you back in line. They try to destroy you publicly, and then they start trying to do something and say you're doing something unlawful. That's why I'm like, we got to be mindful. We got to look out for Kanye West because the program never changes. I hope y'all understand the program never changes. They just hope that you forget. So they try to scrape up the people who don't pay attention. They just they doing the same thing over and over again. I didn't see Pence's interview. I would love to see it. I would love to see it. Send it to me on the back channel. What up, Katrina? Shout out to everybody on YouTube. Listen, on YouTube, hit the thumbs up, hit the like button, everybody. Same thing here on TikTok. Run up the likes, y'all. Hit the share button. We real low on our shares right now. Everybody over here, share the live on Instagram and whatnot. Badges are available on Instagram. Gifts and cash apps are available on TikTok and YouTube and everywhere else. Super chats and super likes, man. I appreciate the support. So check this out. Greg says, I'm not even a Republican, as you said. Neither was he, but he knew which side would get him in office. And he said that. Tashi said he didn't snitch on Trump. He evaded the questions. Got it. So because he can't, because history will always prove the truth. History is always going to prove the truth, right? They can't allow him back in the seat because people have drawn their line in the sand. I am going to be really pushing for that guy, man, because he is going to stir things up and he's going to command. Listen, we need even now, we need a bulldog in the fight. We need a wolf. Our current president is not a wolf, and that's why all these things are happening in all these different places. Pence ain't gonna win though. That'd be awesome, but Pence won't win against Trump. Won't happen. Pence won't win. What about all the politicians that went to prison with him? LaTanya, a lot of those people got reduced sentences. They knew what they were doing. They made a lot of money. So for the amount of time that they went to prison or house arrest, think about it. Most of them got acquitted. Most of them people got pardoned. A lot of those people that were on with Trump, ain't nobody serving no real hard time. Fike said all those people that voted for Trump are now all of a sudden against him. Yep. Nobody questions why. With that fact alone, yep. That's called critical thinking, Fikes. When you look at the situation and you say, yo, Pence will be worse than Trump. I think Pence will be worse that he's a real racist though. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the difference, Tashi, is Pence is a career politician who has voted and moved in the same faction as a lot of these people that we have in office. Now, I'm not Republican and I'm not Democratic because, like I said to y'all, it's two wings on the same bird. No matter what happens, they're going to figure it out. That's what I do know. But what I am a logical person, and I look at everything and I say, who is going to go out here and truly make a difference and be as transparent? We won't ever have we will not, I promise you, we will not have a more transparent president than Trump. We will not have a more transparent president than Trump. You have to, LaTanya, nobody wants to hear this but to shoot. For that, LaTanya says, what we got to do to create a new system, you have to purge the old one. That's it. That's it. Tashi said he lives in rural Indiana, and we already know what that's about. That's what's at stake. You know what I'm saying? When we talk about this stuff and everybody talks about the freedoms that they want and how they want to, what up, Mario? I'll check it out, man. I gotta check out the link. I'll check out the music. But that's the truth, right? We don't stand together enough to flip this thing on its head. That's the truth. Like, for all the changes people say they really want, we don't flip this thing on its head. So we keep trying to do it within the system that they created. But we already know the system they created is faulty. So there is no winning. The game is rigged. It's like going to Vegas thinking that you finna bust them in their head, but the game is rigged. The minute they see you start coming up, you know, they hit the little button. They change the deck of cards. They bring in a new dealer, but it's the same game. That's what we dealing with, y'all. We dealing with a rigged game right now. And because it's rigged, we can't even play that game. But we're so divided, we can't pull everybody together and say, we ain't voting for nobody. Matter of fact, everybody get out. This party's over. Everybody out. We're going to do it another way. We don't want anybody who's inundated to these processes that are undermining us. Like, there are processes in place that have been, tell me this, y'all. How does something that was written, let's say 200 years ago, let's say 100 years ago, how does something that was written and done 100 years ago work today when we've had all these changes and advancements and we're different people? You don't even drive a car that was 100 years ago. So how is a system that worked for a certain group of people at the access that they had to technology, the access that they had to information was limited? How do you have a new group of people who have a crazy group of access to technology and information? How do you do that the same way? Shouldn't it adjust? Why haven't we changed the Constitution? Remember when Trump said the system is rigged and he knows because he used it? Absolutely. He was being so honest. And Hillary won't do nothing about it because her friends and donors do it too. But well, they're all a part of the system. You got to understand. Hillary was married to someone who was a career politician. Y'all are missing me with this. I don't know why y'all listen. When you have people who have been doing this and playing the game so long, they start getting good at the game. They don't get good at breaking the game. They're not even interested in changing the game. When you forget your history, you're doomed to repeat it. Absolutely, Joetta. But these people are people who have been playing the game. They ain't trying to change the system. Y'all tripping. They are not trying to buck or change the system. They're trying to win the game. They get in and they start swimming with the flow of things. And they say, I'm going to be the fastest swimmer. Watch how I swim. I'm going to outswim everybody. And then you have a Donald Trump that get in and start swimming. He's like, yo, where y'all going this way for? I'm not going to go that way. I'm going to go this way. And I'm going to tell everybody why y'all went that way because they need to know why y'all went that way. That's Donald Trump. Donald Trump swimming. He's like, I'm straight. I ain't got to go that way. I'm rich. And that affords me the ability to go any way I want to go. So if I can go any way I want to go, I'm going to go that way. And he starts swimming upstream. He like, hey, why y'all fighting me on this? Look, I know up this way, it's different for everybody, not just y'all. If we just swim upstream, this is going to work out for everybody. Chuck said, scrap for president. Nah, man. Nah, listen, for the kind of president I would be, bro, they would have to shut the system down. They'd have to flip it on his head. You know what I'm saying? Because the kind of president that we need in office is very close to the idealistic way that Trump did things. I'm sorry. Trump being transparent is what you want. You want somebody who's gonna tell you what's going on, so you got a dog in the fight so you can say, hey, I don't like that. Do y'all know we changed so many things when Trump was president? The people changed so many things. The people changed so many things because y'all remember when Trump would tweet something and then we'd all be like, hell no, we ain't doing that. No, Trump, that ain't it. Man, y'all hear what's going on? And then they would change what they were doing. We never gonna see that again in the presidency. Like that should be a blueprint that we make sure that other presidents do. Nah, run that by the whole world, bro. Run that by the nation before you decide to do that. Say it out loud. See if it makes sense. Say it out loud and see if it makes sense. If you say it out loud and it still makes sense and we all agree with it, then let's go with it. But don't you get us into no wars that we ain't got no business being a part of. Don't you put us on no drugs that we shouldn't be like literally, man. Literally, the transparency was one of the things I delighted in the most. I had never wanted to be so involved in the system or listen to some of the rhetoric that they were saying. I enjoyed hearing about the tweets that this man would tweet because it put me up on game what was going on. Y'all don't know what's going on until it's happening. Y'all did not even know about this cryptocurrency thing, did you? That's the part that's killing me, that y'all ain't recognizing. You had no idea what was going on with this Trump situation. I mean, with this crypto stuff. Why? Because they move in silence. Yep. Trini, you got it right. Trump can't be silenced. He will spill the beans. He will definitely tell you. Now, I know a lot of people's like, that's not good for outside the country. He had outside the country chilling. He had outside the country under control. We had no problems with Russia. People had a problem with him being close to Russia. But how can you talk like that when the conversation is what? Keep your enemies close, keep your friends close, and your enemies closer. We grew up saying these things, yet when somebody actually does it, we admonish them for it. What kind of sense does that make? They want somebody that can be controlled. Yep. Trini said they want somebody who can be controlled. She said it in her Kanye voice. And I'm going to dance around a little bit too. I'm going to get to this Kanye West thing, right? You know, y'all do understand the Fed Bank been talking about since 2020, but we have to watch more than local news. True story. We got to dive in and get into it. Yep, get into it. Trini said he was spilling the beans about our government. Absolutely right. Now, talk about spilling the beans. Kanye West. Kanye West, man, he dropped a bomb on us the other day. I don't know if any of y'all paid attention to it. Kanye West has, I pray that people put the right protection around Kanye, but here's why Kanye don't have to worry so much. If something happens to Kanye, do y'all know what that means? If something happens to Kanye, do y'all know what that means? That means he was right. They will validate Kanye West if they do anything to him. That's why I believe he's speaking as freely as he is. Same thing with how it was with Donald Trump. For all the ill will and all the things that they said Donald Trump has done or is talking about, y'all do know that we are in a country that is known for assassinating people, presidents. We are in a country that is not afraid to assassinate a person. Historically, Tashi, I'd like to believe that, but the problem with that is Tashi said the young folks will go crazy if something happens to him. I'd like to believe that, but let me tell you something. The problem with that is this. They will move and it won't be in the right direction. They'll move with no guidance. Yeah. DDT said that means Kim will become a single mother. I'm not even putting Kim in the equation of all the things that are happening with Kanye right now, but they will not martyr Kanye. They will not martyr Donald Trump. And that gives them some room to move around, right? But the latest bomb that was dropped in the Kanye West saga is this. Did anybody see the post that the information he posted? Did anybody see it? True story, Toss. They was trying to purge that dude. Did anybody see the tweet that or I don't know if it was a tweet but so this is how y'all understand. I need y'all to understand that Kanye is not crazy. Yeah, about the personal trainer, Jill. For those of you who did not see it, Kanye West posted an exchange from his trainer. His trainer threatened him. His trainer was the one who said, now, ultimately, just so y'all remember this, Kanye West's trainer was the very first person who said Kanye West was mentally ill. He was the person who got Kanye admitted into the mental spot, right? And Kanye didn't know what was going on because Kanye had never been considered bipolar or any of those things, right? Well, look at his trainer was a handler, DDT. His trainer threatened him. When Kanye West started going out on a rant and saying the things he said, his trainer threatened him and said, "You got to stop." This is his trainer. Hold on. I'm hoping my battery is charged on this because I don't want to mess this up. I want to make sure I can tell y'all what he said verbatim. It's so crazy that nobody's talking about this. No news channel has brought this up. This is crazy. Nobody is saying anything about that, and these are the leaked text that he had. I want to read the text. He said, "I was mentally misdiagnosed." That's what Kanye's claim is, and he got the receipts. He has the receipts. This is what his trainer said, y'all. He said, "First, you and I sit down and have a loving and open conversation, but don't use cuss words. And everything that is discussed is based in fact and not some crazy stuff that dumb friend of yours told you or you saw in a tweet." Now, his dumb friend is, what is the rapper that be with him? Oh, man, I can't think of the dude's name. I just was talking about his name a minute ago. I found it the other day. I'll look it up again. But it's the friend that used to run the Donda Foundation. And then he said, "Here's your second option. I have you institutionalized again, where they medicate the crap out of you and you go back to zombie land forever. Play date with the kids just won't be the same. Come on, man. This is a trainer saying that to him. Now, let me give y'all some background on the trainer. The trainer is an ex-military person from Canada who specialized in in drugs and in those kind of things. Like, he specialized in that. Let me see if I can find exactly, because they break down exactly who he is and what he his background. There it is. Let me see. Then supposed Pasternak and serious text messages. Pasternak added he would have him institutionalized. Kanye says that was he was threatening that everything includes children. Yup, he said all this stuff. That's what's crazy. Kanye said that he was told that if he exposed the truth of the bad business practices, everything's going to be taken away from me, including my black children. Everyone has bore witness to the public Emmett Tilling of Ye. Yep. So let me a Canadian-American personal trainer, motivational speaker, author, television host, and spitter. This is who Pasternak is, but they didn't go into the real background of this guy. You know what I'm saying? Man, this is crazy. I want to find this part because they broke it down to why he was qualified to do all this other crazy stuff that he was doing. Like, but I go back to say this. This is so y'all understand that Kanye West isn't crazy. Kanye West, like they have an agenda against him. Now we know this is we know this is policy. We know. So here's what I would be doing if I was Kanye. I would be backtracking and saying and looking at who brought this man into my life. Because at a celebrity level, just so y'all understand, the circle doesn't get you don't get into somebody's celebrity circle unless they've been vetted or unless they are referred or vouched for by somebody. I would start traveling down that road because Kanye West doesn't just meet a trainer out somewhere. This mug ain't going to the gym. He ain't hanging out at the gym like that. You know what I'm saying? And maybe it is his wife, but she would have to be using him too, Tashi. So I doubt if it would be somebody like that. So you'd have to look at who he would have aligned himself with that was working out with this trainer that he would have vouched for. He's a celebrity trainer. So with these tactics, you got to think about these controlling mechanisms that he's got in place that he's probably used for a lot of different people. So the saga continues with Kanye West and listen, he's saying a lot of very truthful things. When he said his mom was sacrificed, I knew what he meant. A lot of people didn't, but we understand that the policy in order to be an elitist in the entertainment industry requires you to make a full-on commitment because they believe that if you make this blood commitment that you won't stray from what's out there. Yeah, was he introduced after one of these? Was it? I want to see it because whoever introduced him, they're the culprits behind it. And we understand that's how government works. They bring in somebody brings, starts inching them into the conversation. This is how infiltration happens in your relationships with your friends. Is somebody brings a friend and that friend already has an ulterior motive. And that ulterior motive starts festering itself. You start gaining your confidence. And once they start gaining your confidence, think how confident this man must have been to say the things that he said about Kanye West and what he was going to do in his family. And the fact that he admitted that he said, I will get you institutionalized again. Do y'all understand that if that's why y'all got to be active listeners, right? Y'all got to pay attention to all those words. He said again, like he did the first time. That's a power trip. He's saying I was in control the first time I made the world think you was nuts. Now I can really make the world think. If you keep on telling these truths, if you keep on out here spilling the beans, I'll make sure they never look at you the same. Come on, man. That's right. When they sign those contracts, LaTanya, I can tell you, and I ain't even got to tell you. You can look at those celebrities who bit the apple. You can look at those celebrities who have signed your name across my heart. I want you to be my baby. You know who's done it. And there's no one that you may think is exempt that has had the kind of successes that they've had that is exempt from it. So when y'all talk about these mega stars, some that y'all really, really love and adore, they're going to understand that, look, they're not going to let you have. And when I say they, I mean this elitist group of people out here who control a lot of the narratives out here. They're not going to allow you to conflict with that narrative. You are officially an obstructionist, and they're going to do whatever it takes to first publicly humiliate you. Do y'all see it? Y'all seen all these instances where they try to tear people down in the media? Bill Cosby, too much influence, too much money, and too much influence. Oh, Bill Cosby, we're not going to allow you to do that. No, you can't have your own network. No, you can't have any. No, we're not doing that, Bill Cosby. You want your own network so you could put positive images of Negroes out? No. You know what that might do? That might empty out our prisons. That might give people self-esteem. That might make people want to do better. No, we're not doing that. And knowing you're probably going to hire a bunch of black people and take black people out off the streets. We don't want that. You know what? Hey, can you publicly humiliate Bill Cosby? Let's have 57 women from 20, 30 years ago say he drugged them to have sex. Because, of course, in Bill Cosby's heyday, when he was one of the biggest comedians out, he'd have to drug women to have sex with him. That's the part that y'all be missing, man. That be blowing my mind. Like, y'all, common sense on a whole level doesn't exist. And the crazy part is because we have two different ideals of how things works as people, right? Black people think one way, white people think another. White people think a certain way because you haven't had to experience a lot of the things that black people had to experience. Black people have always had to be skeptical. White people could kind of rush in and not really give it to not care as much. You know what I'm saying? So that's I'm stating facts, y'all. I'm not saying it in any kind of like divisionary kind of way. I'm just saying, man, we've always had to be skeptics because ever since that first boat ride when Mom was like, hey, go get on the boat, man, we're going to go somewhere. We've been like, yo, man, what the hell? What do you mean we finna go somewhere? Oh, man, no, this is bad. We haven't had the opportunity to trust in this America the way that other nationalities get to trust in this America. Other nationalities in this America get embraced a bit more. Only ones who haven't been so much is Mexican people. Mexican people don't get, they're fighting for that, you know what I'm saying? But they're part of the fabric of this new America. And I don't know, it's just hard for me to think about, doing it. Yep, they just took something without question. I can tell you with confidence how much they feel that, yep, we've been on that. Yep, you're right. Chappelle said it in his SNL thing, Reed. We've been on that. Think about this. When it came to the pandemic, do y'all know that in 2019 at Event 201, when they had the conversation about introducing this new pandemic, they spent the whole day discussing how to get the skeptical black people to get in on taking this concoction. That's how confident they are with what they've set up within the white community. They said, hey, man, you ain't got to worry about white folks, man. All we got to do is say it's good for them, and they're going to take it. But these black folks, they don't take a lot of stuff. They actually got their own remedies that they've held on to. I don't know how they remember how to take care of themselves with these herbs and all these different things that they're taking. You know what? Before we do this, let's take out, what's that guy's name? Let's take Dr. Sebi off the map. They got a few chess pieces, man, that are still strong. Let's take Dr. Sebi. Let's take him off the map because when this pandemic comes, he absolutely is going to give them remedies and recipes to take care of themselves that don't involve our pharmaceutical situation. Like we have a pharmaceutical situation that's so set up to make a lot of money, but I just know that this herbal healer would undermine that. So, and he has a real big voice in the community. I think we need to do something about that. Matter of fact, let's go back a little bit further. There's a young lady in one of the biggest female groups that is out here, and she's introducing Dr. Sebi. She said his name publicly a couple times. Let's get rid of her. She's an advocate for him. Let's get rid of any advocates of Dr. Sebi. Bye-bye, young lady from the group TLC. Let's get her out of here. then we'll be able to do something with him because he won't have a voice in the American society. He won't have a voice. You know what I'm saying? And then we'll get rid of some other holistic teachers across the world because we know they're going to try to save their people by telling them not to take these drugs. I'm just putting something together. I just need y'all to open your mind up a little bit, you know what I'm saying, and kind of just zoom in on some things. That was one of my friends. Like, I knew her and why she was going, and she was absolutely excited about the results she was getting for her and her friend Tab. And so she was coming back and telling everybody, hey, y'all got to take a trip with me. Y'all got to go to the Honduras. I met somebody who was really, really dope. And, you know, her skin started clearing up. She stopped drinking as much. She stopped smoking as much. And her skin got better. And she was healing herself. And Tab was getting better. And Tab had lupus. And Tab was getting better. I'm just tying up the shoelaces for y'all because some of y'all need just to look at things a little bit differently. They held a whole day's worth of events just to figure out how to make black people, specifically black people, take this drug. Now think about that. Think about the fact that there are people having hardcore meetings at how to manipulate you. That goes on both sides. They look at the level of manipulation that they need to have for our white counterparts. And y'all should be offended. If you're a white person out there who got lured into taking this concoction, y'all need to look at that. Y'all need to examine the fact that they used you like sheep. They just said, let's get all these white sheep. Let's get all these sheep to follow. And then they'll do it. Like, we can get them, and hopefully the momentum becomes the majority. Because we've always been the minority. We just know how to move as a minority group of people. So being the minorities, they knew they were up against something greater. Like, the challenge was going to be ridiculous. And it was, and it is. To this day, we're the community that didn't take it, you know what I'm saying? They didn't go through it a lot, you know what I'm saying? And the ones of us that did do it, it's the same as it's always been with anything. They had to force us to do it. They had to tie our hands up and say, listen, we're going to take away any livelihood. Anything that you built, we're going to tear it down. You got your own independent business? Yeah, we're going to shut that down. Matter of fact, we're going to trick a lot of y'all because we know how hungry y'all are for this stuff. We're going to give y'all this thing called a PPP loan. Now, we know y'all ain't going to go through all the real paperwork. Y'all ain't going to do everything right, but we're going to give you this PPP loan because we need some insurance. We need some insurance that you're going to do what we need you to do. So when I look at it, I'm sorry, this is just me introducing y'all to some of the perspectives that I've come up with. And I've been, like I said, I can't not think about these things. And when I say that, I mean, I can't dive in and really get the information. I can't not do that. It's important that we all look at these things because we're all living in this same reality, the same experience. And what we don't do collectively, we affect what happens to us individually. Excuse me. They took the pandemic and ushered in some things that affect the whole of us, not just some of us. And that's where I need us to all come together, where it's not a black thing only, it's a white and black thing. And we have to stare this thing down in the middle and look at it like, yo, it's not just happening to you. It's happening to all of us. And they're doing it with ease, like with complete ease. Because we make it easy, because once the majority get to rolling, the minority don't stand a chance. And the minority be the ones who really understand what's going on, saying, hold on, y'all, stop moving so quick. No, stop running, hold on for a second. If we just, listen to me, man, when they introduced this whole thing about you're going to lose your job and all that kind of stuff, everyone should have just stopped in their tracks. Everybody should have said, if you're gonna give them problems, then you're giving me a problem too, and I don't like it, and I'm gonna put my foot down. Everybody should have stopped going to work. I'm sorry. What a voice that would have been collectively if we would have showed the whole world that we are a United States, but we're not. We are not a United States. When you say TikTok cut you off, yeah, so TikTok just did something. I noticed that too. I noticed they do they do a thing here, shadow banning on TikTok? I don't know. Do they shadow ban on TikTok? Do y'all know, y'all? I don't know either. So this is what I'm gonna do, yo. I'm going to stop the podcast here and restart it on TikTok. Everybody else will stay up. Stay with me 1 second, y'all. So let me just restart this. I'm gonna stop it and restart it. That's crazy. What up, Dior? What's happening? So that's probably my first experience with being shadow banned or whatever they call it. Yeah, so I just restarted it, and I'm sure I said some words. Tashana, Tashi just told me that I got shadow banned on TikTok just now, really quickly, and I know what some of those. I know I said some trigger words. I'm sure. You know what I mean? I'm sure they're listening, and I said some key words, but we'll see what happens. I just restarted the live, and I didn't change the title or anything. I just stopped it and restarted it. We'll see what happens. But just so y'all know, the podcast is up. I think I posted it or whatnot. It's Bite to Eat Podcast. It's on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and a few others. Apple. It's on a bunch of different ones. And I posted the first one, which was our conversation. What up, Pamela? The first conversation that was posted was the social digital currency conversation. I just think it's important to get that information out. And then I'll post a few others. And this is why. So typically now, what I'm gonna end up doing is, what up, Jacob? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold an hour-long, scripted conversation, or not scripted, but here go my notes. Let me do this again. Mirror your video. Here go my notes. You know what I'm saying? Of the things that I wanted to discuss today. And so I want to make sure that the first hour is good. They can't stop the great people of the creative. True story. They can't. But we have to be collective. Yeah, I'm back, Latanya. What's up? All right, Tasha. Yeah, that was crazy, man. I saw it too when it happened. I just didn't understand what was going on. I saw the numbers drop from I think we had like 50, 60 people drop down to like 12. I was like, yo, what is that? But that's what needs to happen, right? Everybody's absolutely right when they say that, the division has not served us well. The division has not served us well or been effective at all. What up, Teray? That has not managed to go over well with us, and we still keep buying into it. And that just, that's a big problem for me, right? Is that we don't understand that we're stronger together because we haven't done anything together. Like, I'm trying to think what we do things together for other countries. We don't do things together for ourselves here in America. And that's because they keep, we keep, I can't even say they, we keep on pushing the narrative of our separatism. And the only reason why we do that is because as a community of black people, we feel like, our separatism was probably the only time where we saw things the same way and were able to get things done. But the truth of the matter is, there have been instances in the civil rights movement where we have collectively worked together and made some things adjust. Now, what those things, those adjustments have amounted to is probably what the complaint is about. Is that we have not made those adjustments that really, boom things through. Like, we really need to consider, what adjustments are we making? People talk. Okay, so I believe there was a conversation, y'all. It's by the way, it's Wednesday, November 16th, 10:12 in the morning. Here in Atlanta, Georgia, it's 41 degrees with a high of 47 degrees. It's going to be partly cloudy all day. But there was a thing, right? And we hear people say, you've heard Kanye rant. Kanye rants from the perspective of where we're at. You know what I'm saying? Like, he said some old craziness that, well, it sounded crazy. And I can't say it is at this point. But he was like, how are we so much further advanced when things still feel and seem the same? Yeah, Elion, it's cold as I don't know what today, right? Elion checking in on Instagram. My fam, my people. But he said, like, yo, how are we celebrating when we still have remnants of slavery still existing? Like, what have we effectively really done? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think we have to examine that as a culture. What advancements have we really made that everyone could be proud of? And I think that's the unselfishness of this human existence that has to be brought to the forefront. I don't think we look at things in that manner of what are we doing to balance the scales of the evils that were done before so that people could, you do know this, right? I hope y'all understand. For anybody who doesn't understand what the climate is, you can't smack somebody in the face and then keep on moving like it never happened. You can't smack somebody in the face and not apologize by rubbing their face or offering, or doing something. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've been smacked in the face since we came here to the United States, and nobody has rubbed our cheek. Nobody has said, "Are you okay? Nobody said that pivotal thing that when you know somebody really cares. They never, not to this day, they haven't said, what can I do to make it right? Nobody had that conversation. Nikki, all right, that's what's up. Stay tuned. There's more to come. You can go back and watch some past episodes, Nikki, as well, on my YouTube channel to get you up to speed. Hopefully you're following and turn on notifications to always. But that's the biggest thing that we're dealing with right now. Think about this, man. When has America apologized to the African Americans that they brought here for the mistreatment? Like, we went through our ancestors went through a lot. And because nobody has made it right, it's kind of like insurance, right? Like, people wouldn't mind getting into accidents and doing all those things because, insurance wasn't a thing. Like if you screwed up, you screwed up. Oh well, But when insurance got into play, everybody, you had to be concerned about, what's going on, so that because insurance made sure insurance is the biggest scam, by the way, ever on earth. Okay, that's what's up. Okay, Letitia, absolutely. Letitia said she'll be in and out. Cool. But think about this, man. We pay for a service that there's no guarantee that you're ever going to need. That's the craziest thing. And they take this thing to make sure that you're whole. Insurance is supposed to make sure you're whole. We as a community have never been given that kind of insurance since since things happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've been apologized to, but we haven't been made whole. It's just been a conversation. That's right. If you use too much, they'll drop you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sorry. I want to dial it back to what's so hard about apologizing to us? That should be some of the thought processes that go through your mind. Why is it so hard to apologize to the black people in America? Why is it so hard to not only apologize, but to do the right thing by black people in America? Why is that such an issue? Well, if they apologize and if they do the right thing, well, that means everyone else has to acknowledge it as well. And if everyone else acknowledges it, that means they have to adjust. Listen, Jacob, we can't bankrupt this country. Man, do you know they just printed another $1 trillion or some craziness like that to give to other countries? Yeah, Tashi, we was 2/3. I know. I mean, if this country is printing money, to Jacob's point, if they're printing money, wouldn't it be easy to take care of your the people who you marginalized? Wouldn't it be easy to make it whole? Instead, we're sending money to countries that most of us will never, ever visit. Yep, they promised us 40 acres and a mule. which was a going rate to get you started back in the day. They gave you the land, and they gave you a device to cultivate that land. That was the promise. 40 acres and a mule, so you could cultivate the land that they gave you. And they never gave you the land, because if you cultivated the land, which we know we're very resilient and agricultural based people, if you were to cultivate the land, that you might not need anybody. So if you don't need people, there's a fear associated with independence. There's a fear associated when there's someone who can control your independence and they don't give it to you, or they're afraid that you're going to take it. Or they're afraid you're going to take your independence. Those are the fears that are out there right now. But there were some things that they did that rightfully there should be some fear instilled in this whole situation, because you gave us an opportunity to learn. You also gave us the opportunity to bear arms to protect ourselves, but you gave us so many other things. And now that we've got these things, that's the part to me where the directive needs to change. Like, I believe that people who are acquiring wealth now aren't positioning themselves to move as if they got their 40 acres and a mule. There's no way all those people from, those celebrity athletes, those celebrity entertainers who have acquired the kind of wealth shouldn't be doing what Kanye West did. I'm sorry. As much as you want to dismiss him, the guy is on the right track. He went out and bought land. He said, they afforded me the opportunity to earn, so I'm going to use mine to invest in my 40 acres and a mule. They can't take that from him. Do you know, theoretically, if he owns the land, they can't take it from him. Of course, we know they can do, that. We say that, but we don't. Again, we're renting a room in someone else's house, so they can kind of say, we want that closet space back. We want to use this area over here by the window for something else, and there's nothing you can say about it. It's their house. So if you keep that in mind, then all you could say is the best that he could do is take that land, cultivate that land, and then make that land earn money. Yep. Until it's lost. That's exactly right. I mean, if we look at it, Tashi said, valueless money. It's like we get it and forget about the struggles until it's gone. We could talk about that in the context of, they said he lost $1.5 billion with the ranting, but we got to understand that it's not just him. We have to understand that Kanye West didn't lose this money; it was taken away from him. I want to use the right words. I'm sorry. He didn't lose $1.5 billion. $1.5 billion was taken from him for not aligning himself or redirecting himself or controlling himself like they were trying to do to him. Can you imagine if your trainer is controlling you that way? Imagine the other entities that are around you from the business side of it. Come on, man. Imagine that you're surrounded by these people who are all trying to say, the only time that they can take your livelihood is when they establish that you're not competent to do so on your own. But see, Tashi said, but honestly, except on paper, did he have $1 billion? I would say yes, in assets, right? Which, if you understand how big money moves, I mean, y'all got to understand, Jeff Bezos doesn't have $124 billion sitting around. You know what I'm saying? He ain't got a room where it's 120. He ain't a drug dealer where he got all this money stacked up to the you know what I'm saying? It's assets, right? And assets are what makes this country work. People borrow against their assets. People lean into those assets to do other big things. So what they did was they actually liquidated, for the money that they took away from him as an asset. He can't borrow against that. He can't lean into that to make some bigger moves. I'm sure some of the investments that he made were based on the fact that he had this coverage in those institutions. But that leads me to that other conversation that I didn't get into, which was Jeff Bezos has decided to donate, can you imagine this, $124 billion to climate control. Now, if we're not looking at this, if our antennas didn't go up. Now, one of the things that's required of you when you attain a lot of wealth is that you become a philanthropist. You know what I'm saying? You become a philanthropist. Tashi said, "I understand, but take that and give me my piece to move differently." Yeah, what up, Alpha? Yeah, but you need both, right? This is why if I gave y'all any advice, I tell y'all this, especially nowadays. I tell y'all keep a couple grand in your safe at the house, and you could keep some in an interest-bearing account in the bank, but definitely have your stash at the crib. Like if I was Ye or anybody that acquired that kind of wealth, I'm gonna have me a cool $1 million to $2 million in a huge safe at my crib. I'm sorry. Excuse me. I'm gonna have me a stash, and you got to have your what's called a go bag. You got to have a go bag. A go bag is when you can take this amount of money and make that move wherever you got to go, just in case somebody try to freeze up your money. You know what I mean? If somebody tries to freeze up your bread. His ex-wife just gave to the school systems my daughter attends. That's dope. But that's the part of the job, right? There's actually a thing called like a philanthropist kind of coalition or group that they have where it requires you to be philanthropic. You know what I'm saying? To give back. So imagine the amount of money this guy has. If he said he's giving away more than half his fortune, $124 billion to climate control. Now, when I think about that, I be like, yo, how big of an issue? It makes me want to dive into the climate control conversation and just say how big it is. You know what I'm saying? What up, coffee? You know what I'm saying? It makes you wonder, 31 degrees, yipes. That's what I believe, Tashi, is that they already control the climate. They tested it out over the past few years where the weather's done the most dumbest stuff I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, you gotta have that go bag, Alpha. You gotta have that bread in your pocket and to go along with that bread in the bank. Because should the bank flip itself on its head, what are you gonna do? You know they ain't gonna stop saying money works. What up, Hollywood? You know they're not gonna say money stops working. Yep, the harp control joint. So you gotta have you some bread in your pocket. Yeah, the whole willingness of if y'all don't think they control weather, y'all are tripping. I'm sorry. They are absolutely, that is the game. And they tested it out several times in America when it was snowing. Remember that year it was like snowing in places it never snowed at. It was, and people started calling them out like, yo, what are y'all doing? What's going on? Like y'all are bugging. Like if y'all don't think that we make a difference in the global conversation or the national conversation, when we're aware of it, when we're aware of what's going on, yeah, we can be a part of the conversation. But the way things are set up right now is we can't. I believe that Donald Trump would be in office and he would spill the beans on HARP. He'd definitely say, yeah, well, we control the weather, and then people would dismiss it, except for those people who are already on it. That's the level of lunacy that they want. They inject out there. Selena Martinez on YouTube, she says squirrels stash their food in more than one place. Love that. Yep, Ye too. But that's what they're doing with Ye right now, Hollywood, on Instagram. That's exactly what they're doing. They're saying that they had to make you, before you could tell, listen, nobody's gonna listen to a fool. That's what they're preying on. Ain't nobody gonna listen to no fool. Let's make him sound crazy and then he can say what he wants. That way we don't have to monitor him that much. Think about no more female tree being planted. Chemtrails are everywhere. Yep. And they won't let you, and this is a reason why I believe they have this big issue and concern with people collecting rainwater. Just to chime in on that, Jacob and everyone. That's what I believe. Yep, Trump is running next election, man. I'm excited about it. I know a lot of people aren't, but I am going to advocate. I'm sorry. I think it's important. We get somebody in there. We get a wolf in the house. It's crazy when it's warmer in Connecticut than here in the desert, New Mexico. You're absolutely right. But that's all. So we know how much the weather affects our emotions. So that has a lot to do with, you know what I'm saying, why these things are structured that way. They know that if it's hurricane season and these hurricanes are kicking up, then, you know, it's a crisis. Crisis equal money. I mean, that's the real, like, if we go back to it, you got to understand we're a part of a business. We are in the midst of a business. The business's sole objective is to make money. That's it. At all costs. Think about it. They don't care if you live or die. It's the same way that it works at your office. Guess what happens when Susan is sick and she can't come to work? They put somebody in Susan's seat and keep it moving. Same thing here. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? In New York, right? DJ Hollywood on Instagram said it was definitely 10 degrees colder in Atlanta this weekend than in New York. Where does that work? When New York is further away from the equator than we are, that don't make sense. You're right, because every time there's bad weather coming, people run to the store and spend money. That's right. And Jacob said it best. United States Corporation. We are a part of a corporation. We are essentially workers. Completely. Alpha said he going through his winter depression. That's funny. If y'all don't look at yourselves as employees of the country, then you're missing it. And then if you break it down to a smaller, minute conversation of what can happen to you as an individual at your job, then you can get it. You are self-employed, but you pay taxes, so you are working for them still. You know what I'm saying? I am Gigi. I wouldn't have it any other way. I want somebody as transparent as Trump in the office. I want somebody as open and revealing as Trump was in the office. And I want people to pay attention to that. I want people to understand that I'm not voting for a politician. DJ Hollywood said, "What's taxes? I'll see you in jail, my friend." My boy LA on YouTube said Minnesota ex-governor exposed the government for climate control. He was an ex-wrestler. I remember I remember that too. What is his name? Bald head white guy, about 6'4", 6'5". Them sending up rockets to control the weather, to monitor and all kind of stuff. It's a whole bunch of reasons for that, man. Yeah. I'm advocating for the black community, I'm sorry, to stand behind Trump on this go around and do it with a heavy hand and heavy foot. I'm sorry. This man, Jesse Ventura, that's his name. Yep. Jesse Ventura, yep. I liked him as a wrestler too. He was a bad guy. I think there's more to Trump's announcement. Keep your eyes open. I do believe, listen, I think he's announcing it and we knew he was going to do it. And he had to do it based off of all the techniques that they tried to use to stop him from doing it. I hope so, Tashi. Tashi says he will probably get more African-American votes this go around. I hope so. Because you're not going to have somebody as transparent. And if you went by what they said, they expected people not to listen to him. They thought he was going to be a pawn for the building. What up, Amber? What up, Alicia? They thought that he was going to be a pawn. And he said, "No, I told y'all what I was doing. I told y'all I was going to sneak my way into presidency and do what I want to do and do what needs to be done." Yeah, everyone is Queen Quita. Everybody's tired of this person that's leading the government right now. But Latanya, that's our job. Latanya said, "I don't know. Too many of us still stuck on stupid." True story. But that's the reason why we have to be. If people are open for the conversation, I think that you will be able to manage that. Like, you got to say it. Like, the reason why people are going to be adverse to it, because they don't hear enough of us saying why. They don't hear enough of us who are not Republican saying why we're voting for Trump. I'm not voting based off Republican or Democrat. I'm basing it off the person, which he was never really any of that. He was a dude, you know what I'm saying? He was a rich dude that got to be in office who didn't care about none of those folks. Right. Man, if y'all don't watch all the bloopers that they got on Biden, then y'all are tripping, man. Yeah, let's take a pause for the calls real quick. If y'all are on my lives, hit the likes. I see y'all on the YouTube got the likes covered. It's a place in the States where they have the technology to do it on private government land. Yep. Sure enough, LA. Make sure y'all hitting the like button, share the lives, badges on TikTok, anything y'all want to do, Cash App or gifts on TikTok, Cash Apps or super chats or super likes on YouTube. I appreciate y'all supporting the channel. I am going to drink my apple cider vinegar because I hadn't drank it yet. I was going to drink it at 10, but I'm gonna drink it right now. Yeah, we will, Alpha. And Alpha, man, we still ain't forgot about you, man. We want to hear where you at with your progress in terms of making that transition, bro. We ain't forgot about you. I'm gonna take this to the head. Cheers, y'all. To the head, yo. Whew. Excuse me. Pre-making that apple cider vinegar drink just makes life so much easier. Yeah, man. Keep us posted, man. We rooting for you. I want you to know that we really believe in what you got going on. Somebody just called me from I'm not expecting the call. I just sent them the voicemail, so maybe they'll leave me No, LaTanya, that's how you got to drink it. Stop playing, man. You got to take it to the head like that. Send me a pen to buy stickers. No, they're right on the bottom, Laurent. LA, if you go down on the if you're in the YouTube chat, when you look at the bottom of the YouTube chat is a thing. It says stickers or comments, and it gives you an option to do it. And let me see if I can find it real quick. I'm not on YouTube at the moment. Let me see. I'm not on the viewing part of YouTube. I know, right? Let me see. Is that YouTube? Yeah, that's YouTube. So yeah, where it says support. So if you hit that $sign down at the bottom, it says super sticker, super chat, membership, or membership gifting. Let me close that. There we go. So on YouTube, there's a square with a $sign. So if you did, got some good news from my lawyer yesterday from an accident I was involved in last year. Dope. It sounds like that's gonna help promote you to move locations. I don't know what that is. Somebody called me out the blue. I don't do them out the blue calls. You know what I'm saying? I'd be like, you gotta. Okay, you see it. Okay, cool. Yeah, and for everybody else on YouTube, you know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all are chipping in. Don't let LaRon do all the heavy lifting. LaRon always show up, man. He always makes sure he contributes to the live, and I'd be like, I appreciate it. Pamela, when you go to Spotify, type in there it is. He just bought a super sticker. I appreciate it. When you go to Spotify, type in Bite to Eat podcast. It should show up. Yep. Let me see. Can I add that? Let me see. Yeah. So on YouTube, it shows you you guys should see the super sticker on YouTube. That gets posted. Yeah, so Bite to Eat podcast is everywhere, man. I appreciate it. Laurent said, I love your energy. I appreciate it, man. I grew up with Laurent, so he knows, you know what I'm saying? He's known me since, since I was like 6 or 7 years old. And he's, just always been supportive. And we got a conversation coming for y'all in the future. We just got to set everything up correctly. I know you guys are looking forward to the guest that we're going to have on today. Woo! When that thing go down, man, I start sweating, boy. When I don't know if that happened to y'all when y'all drink it, man. Why I got a banner now about election info. Yep, see there? You know they be listening on our phones, excuse me. You know they listening. But yeah, listen, man, it's so important that so this is the other part, right? LaTanya and everybody else on this live, what I want y'all to take away from this is this. This time, it's going to cost to get the black vote. Now, everybody knows that our vote is important, but we don't put any value to it the way that we should. This is why this is why we're going to show them the strength of the black dollar starting from right now. If y'all ain't already started, starting from right now, and this is everybody, black and white people, everybody. You have to start buying from black businesses. Start supporting the Black Initiative. And the reason being is because right now we have supported every other community but our own. And we don't support our own. How can we be the biggest consumers, meaning we buy the most stuff, and yet the dollar lasts such a little time in our community? And what that means is we're taking our money and we're spending it outside of our community. And so is the outside community. The outside community is taking that money and they're spending it amongst themselves. No one has been told or no one has been instructed to come into our community and help share the bread. What up, beef? Keep the beef on my Instagram Live. Listen, it's important that we circulate this money, and we haven't been doing it. Like, we spend outside of our community all the time. We're buying everybody's this and that and the other. But we got people who actually do those things within our community as well. But do we spend with them enough for it to make a difference? And are we understanding the circumstances? No. Everything in the black community is so expensive and you get so little of it. Pamela, I'm glad you said that so I can break this down once again. And I think it's important that I share this information so people understand the positioning of black entrepreneurs. So Pamela, every other community out there is being supported so much that they can put those discounts down and in effect for everybody else. Because we have limited income in our community, because we have slow to no to low support, we have to buy things at the value that they typically cost. So in order to make that amount, in order to make a profit so that we can continue doing it, to pay for the lights and the other things that it takes to run a business, we have to pay that cost. We got to pay it at a higher rate. Most black entrepreneurs don't get discounts. Why? Because they don't have enough patronage from people, patronizing from the people in order for them to get afforded the lower rates. Yeah, Jacob, a dollar circulates 6 hours in the black community, 17 days in the white community, 19 days in the Jewish community, and 29 days in the Asian community. Yep, it's crazy, right? But here's the thing, Latanya. You've spent money and resources in places that treat you bad. We all have done it. We all have went somewhere where the customer service was subpar. We all have done it. The quality of whatever it was always good, but we get hung up on listen, we can't afford to do that though, right? Here's the thing that I'll tell y'all about how we have to move. We can't be sensitive about these black places. We can't be sensitive about dealing with our own people. They would say maybe you being too soft. Like it could be flipped on his head. So I would say, I know y'all gonna treat me like crap. And maybe they treating people like crap because they feel like they undervalued. You know how people are, man. Shoot. How you gonna get the best service from people who feel like, like you're not like they're not benefiting, like you're not treating them right. Like, come on, man. Like there's a lot of reasons why if you go into a black owned business that people might have a chip on their shoulder, might feel some kind of way. Although you and I both know we should be more cordial, and be more, they should be better. But that's a conversation in itself too. We got to get to a point where we ask these people when we're in those places, hey, why are you being this way? I'm trying to spend money with you. Like, I'm trying to support you. Why would you treat me that way? Like, start the dialogue. If you never say nothing, Latanya, you just walk out. You know what I'm saying? If you just walk out, then how will they ever know? Like, we literally need to do that. We got to support our own companies. We got to have thick skin. Like, I'm an advocate for, like, you know what? It is what it is. We got to do what we got to do, and we got to suck it up. I appreciate that. If y'all ain't watching on my YouTube live, I see LA is adding people, like he's adding people to join the live. I appreciate that. I started recognizing names. I didn't know what LA was doing at first, but I recognize all those names. What up, Joey? Like we can't care about all that stuff. Listen, it ain't. It's and yeah, Tashi says not the ownership. It's usually the people that they hire. We know it's not easy to get good help nowadays. We know that. So if we know that, then we gotta we gotta understand the global perspective of these entrepreneurs in the Black community, and we gotta give them some grace. And we gotta start helping cultivate it. You gotta remember, a lot of these new owners are just that, new owners. And sometimes they don't know how to manage it. And some of these kids that are working for these places are need some direction. But they need grace when you do it. Like I know I know a lot of people, especially the ladies in the live, y'all will be ready to set it off. Somebody do some crazy stuff. And that's it, Tashi. You said it best right there. We have to sometimes go in with the teacher mentality. Pull their coattail a little bit. Hey, listen, I understand you might be having a bad day, but listen, A, I didn't contribute to your bad day, and B, I'm trying to be an advocate for your job. I'm trying to spend money here so that you can continue working your job, but you're making it difficult for me to want to revisit. Now today, I'm going to come in, I'm gonna buy what I need to get, but because of your attitude, I may reconsider going somewhere else. And I know y'all need the help. I know y'all need the money. I know the owner needs this, and we need this money. Like, you got to sometimes stop and just say, look, I'm here for you, whether you want to recognize it or not. I'm here to help you cultivate this business that y'all are trying to keep going. And if you know, like I know, it's hard for Black entrepreneurs to continue because of just off rip, the cost of the goods in this place are always going to be higher than the cost of the goods at the Asian place. The Asian place is plugged directly into their source. They get all the discounts. We're not making this stuff ourselves, and for the ones that are, the cost that it takes to make the stuff they're making is expensive. Like, Black boutiques are typically Nordstrom and those kind of things. They're like big companies like that. You know what I'm saying? So when we think about that, when we think about those things, we got to take a lot. There's a lot to consider. I'm sorry. There's a lot to consider. What up, So 100? My guy, what's happening? I'm gonna need them packs, homie. I'm gonna need them packs. Mr. So 100 is on my YouTube, man. He's one of the smartest people I know, man. He's a producer, but he also is he has a product that he's building out. He makes MPC packs, which is no easy task to do. I know he makes it look easy, but it's not easy to do. But he's taking his entrepreneurship in that way as well. So we got to support those things. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not asking you for a free pack, because whatever you charge is what I should be paying. That's the mentality we have to have. Whatever it costs, I'll pay that to support you. Not many, Tashi. Tashi said, how many mom and pop train the staff Life Corporation, teach them how to be and how to hold it down? Yeah, same Ye had, but on a higher level. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like, when entrepreneurs from the Black community start building things, we have to respect the fact that the cost of the materials is going to always be more expensive. I'm sorry. And then you should, as a consumer, require that the level of craftsmanship meets the cost that you're going to be paying for it. Now, we're not going to let stuff slide through the crack, but we also have to be the testing people, the beta testers for a lot of the stuff in our community, to make sure that it's so dope. Now, here's the cool part, right? I think the part that goes over most people's head is that we truly affect the culture in such a way that should we build it, they will come. Should we build it and then we support it, they absolutely will come. Why? Because no other nationality wants to be left out of the new cool. What up, Cheryl? Welcome to the live. When we build something dope, I know we call it appropriation, that everybody wants to have a part of it. That's very true. But instead of making them included in it, we should be taxing them for the right to be a part of it. Not to own it, but just to be a part of it. That's what happens with us. We take those great ideas we have and we give them to everybody else. Because we believe, or we either we're too lazy to see it through all the way ourselves, or we complain because of the time it will take us to build the infrastructure that needs to happen. Now that's been a message I really want to get across to y'all is we have to start building. There's no way that we continue without building. I'm writing it down because I'm probably gonna have a conversation about this tomorrow or the day after. But building, what does that look like? Infrastructure, what does that mean? Like ultimately, there are people who are already have infrastructures already built that we're not even supporting. How does that work? Like one of the cool things that I want to give LA a shout out because LA had the foresight to say this. LA was like, yo, I see you already got something kind of set up. You got an audience already there. You got some things that are booming. I got a person who I think will be super, super dope to join you on your live to disseminate some information that needs to be heard right now. It's a perspective that I think will open up the minds of other people. I thought that was dope. That's how we have to approach each other. What up, Magic Clay? Jay, we got to approach each other from that perspective of, I see you already have a restaurant here. I'm going to come over to that. Did you see the post I tagged you on the expected spending for African Americans in 2024? No, I didn't even see that. I'm going to look at it, though. That's crazy. Trillions of dollars. And none of that is, we haven't even looked at that as a part of being used as an asset within our community. That's the real tragedy of it all. When we hear these incidents of these companies canceling those advocates when they should be championing them, that's what we should be doing, is admonishing Nike, admonishing Adidas, and saying, why aren't you supporting the voice of the people? They're not anti-Semitic because they've done or said something anti-Semitic, because physically they've done nothing anti-Semitic. These are just words, right? And they haven't discriminated against anybody. They just brought to light some different things. Why aren't you still supporting them? And it's because that, like I said, that group of controlling people that have decided to discount something that somebody said, and it influences those other people. It's crazy that this small minority group of people can do that, but because they're tied into the relationships of the fabric of industry and the fabric of corporations, that they can do that. They're so linked into everything that their opinion matters. You know what I mean? Their opinion matters. So 100 say, I think there were enough successful people in the past that could have built a system, but they are afraid of something. They're afraid of exactly what we're seeing with Kanye West and Kyrie. They're afraid of speaking out. They're afraid of putting things together, only for it to be torn down. Black Wall Street is a tough memory. And if you want to teach people how to be, all you got to do is take the most vocal one and make him an example. They've done that over and over again. Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. Yep, we have billionaires now. Where are the factories of sewing machines? True story. They're so busy wanting to tie their money up with others that they don't see the value. And I get it. Listen, man, it's a crazy circle. If you say it out loud, it starts to make sense, right? They want to spend their money with the group of people where that money reciprocates, where that money circles back. They don't want to spend that money in the black community because the black community doesn't support the black community. All that can change. I promise y'all, if we do what I'm saying do for this Black History Month, we will make history and we will change the culture of how people look at black businesses and how they support black companies and black businesses. And that will get those billionaires reinvesting back into the black community. But we have to show that there's a unification that's there that can't be broken or bust down. Like, we got to show that our community can do this. It's necessary for us to say our dollar matters. We got to be able to do that. We got to be able to put that out there. But we haven't put that narrative. They've never seen anything like what I'm proposing, I promise you. That's right, Tasha. We got to shut up and do the work. Stop telling everybody our businesses. There's enough black construction companies. There's so many black diesel drivers now, big truck 18-wheeler drivers now. It's ridiculous. Like, everybody got their own truck now, and that takes, that's the transportation of goods, and we need that, and that's how the money can reciprocate. There's so many ways to make that money stay in the black community. It's ridiculous. Black History Month. This is what I'm proposing. I'm actually proposing you start now learning where those black businesses are that you can support in your area and beyond. Once you have those locked in, something for food, something for clothes, maybe something for, black car dealerships. My cousin has a black car dealership down in Austin, Texas, one of the biggest. He got three locations, the biggest ones down there. These are the things that I'm talking about, is you go to those places and spend the money there, and maybe they're able to do some things differently for others that come behind you. Yep. What do we all do that we can support each other here? What the key is learning those spaces and places. So I'm going to spend some time today, and I'm gonna create a list of a few of the places, and I'm sure I could just type it in, and there'll be black. That's what I'm saying. So 100. This is exactly what I mean. So 100 on YouTube said that's a good idea. Black History Month should only be for black businesses. Those numbers may inspire all year support. That's all I'm trying to do. He just summed it up in one statement. I believe that if you start now learning those black businesses and black people to support in their entrepreneurship, that by the time Black History comes along, it's easy. It ain't a new practice. It's just something that you do even more intentional this month. Once that happens, the nation economy is going to raise their eyebrow and say, yo, what's going on? In February, my numbers dropped so dramatically that it was scary. Why? What happened? Well, we lost a subset of the community to them supporting their own companies and people that look like them. I know Latanya, she said, I got to get ready to work. I don't want to leave. It's all good. We checking out in a little bit, so you're not gonna miss much else. But that's important, right? That you put your money in the conversation. Yep, in New York, we can start shopping in Brooklyn and in Harlem. Those are where the most black businesses are. That's what you're supposed to do. And I don't want to hear the complaints of, oh, I got to drive 15 minutes, or I got to drive 20. You have done more for less. That's the conversation I need y'all to say. That's the small sacrifice you're going to make for a huge deal. It is not boycotting, it is restructuring. We need restructuring. And it ain't gonna happen at a snap of a finger it's not gonna happen with the snap of a finger come February. You have to start learning and doing that now. We got two solid months, like 2.5 months to get it. I said that too, Jacob, a digital green book. And I said it's something that needs to happen, is there needs to be it. I know they were trying to do that before. We've been trying to do this quite often. But we need to do it more effectively. What up, Pam? We need to do it more effectively where the opportunity for people to spend is easier. Now, I said this also. This is not just on the black community. This is also on the black entrepreneurs out there. You have to make yourself available and known. I posted a shoe brand that I found on Instagram. I posted that they are. A Green Book, Latanya, was if you got to watch the movie, it's a really good movie too. But a Green Book was a book that in the 1950s and 60s that they had that showed black travelers where they could go in certain cities and states in the South to eat or to have room and board. Like, you couldn't just go anywhere. They would turn you away at white establishments, and they would, they'd be coming after you. So a Green Book was the green areas. Those were the good areas that you could go to as a black person, to use when you were traveling. So we need something similar to that, not only for our community, but this should be a whole phone book. So, because there are people outside of the black community that want to support the black community. I know them. And they currently do. They actually go out of their way. They're very intentional. Where can I go and get this in the black community? Where can I go and get this and get that? If you don't think that all these people outside of the black community, if you don't think they don't love our clothes, love our food, love our movies, what are you saying? Black Panther, the #1 movie in America. You think that's just from black folks? The movie theater I went through was a mixed, had a mixed group of people in there. Why? Because they want to understand and they want to support and they want to be a part of it. You know what I'm saying? So with that, we need a job green book, work for black companies as well. True story. Because we dilute all of our, that's the best way to say it. We are a group of consumers that dilute, meaning we consume everybody else's stuff while in the process of diluting ourselves, meaning we loan out some of our greatest minds to other places. We do not have a black hospital. Why is that? If people don't understand that, yes, we are all humans, like we all have hands and fingers and all that, but our bodies are designed differently. This is why they have been exploiting and trying to break down Henrietta Lack's genes all this doggone time. If y'all don't understand that there's some uniqueness about each of us, I'm saying we need to develop one, Latanya. I don't think they have one right now. And if they do, we just got to look for it, because you're right, we do need to have that. But we don't have I don't know of a black hospital that has black doctors primarily. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's primarily black hospital. Now, we do have black doctors around, so you can change that. I'm guilty. I have an Asian doctor who I've had for quite a while, and he just, I haven't been, and part of me is now about being more intentional. So I gotta put my money where my mouth is. So the conversation will be also asking around some friends, hey, who's a great black doctor out here in the suburbs that I can go see, because I need to switch it up. Absolutely, Sassy. We got to put our money where our mouth is, and I can't talk this talk and not walk the walk. So I will be searching for a new doctor so that I can support. And I'm gonna tell them straight up, the reason why I am here is because I'm an advocate for supporting our black community. And I talk this talk and I walk this walk on a regular basis. Tashi, we can say that there are all kind of obstacles that are going to come our way, but the breakthrough is when we stick to it enough for it to happen. Like, there's no way. Here's a better example. And Tashi said the politics of opening hospitals is huge. Why don't we stop trying to buy all these sports teams and start buying things that really matter? Let's start the schools. Let's start the hospitals. Let's start there. Let's get those two things up and running. Yeah, HBCUs, like, it's possible. Those people who founded those HBCUs will know how to do all those other things to do. We got an even longer way to go. River City Chef says we got a long way to go. We got an even longer way to go every day that we don't start. Every day that we only talk about these things and not start walking it out, we have a longer way to go. Yeah, these things could have been implemented in our previous generation. Our previous generation, here's the thing. Woo-wee. Well, again, Latanya, sometimes they aren't the right, that sometimes the right people aren't, the right people talking about it ain't the right people for the job. When making and creating these things, we can't be daunted by that. We put people in place that should not, that can't be in that kind of place. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Black Medical College, dope. Keith, yeah, I appreciate it. Keith said, you are being an example, bro. I see you. I appreciate that, bro. And I appreciate LaRon for inviting y'all. A lot of people I see popping up on the live now. I appreciate that, LaRon. I want to work for Primetime. Deion Sanders, confidence is key. True story. Listen, do y'all know that we had black hospitals? Y'all know that, right? Y'all do know that black people could not go to regular hospitals. They had to go to, even villages got black hospitals. What are we saying? Even villages got black witch doctors in the whole nine. What are you saying? Dr. Sebi was a whole hospital in himself. He had a whole setup. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is we have to get back to trusting and believing in each other. Yep. So, exactly. So we've been so Tashi just said what the example is that is the biggest problem. Tashi said we lost our black hospital years ago due to decrease in patients due to these other big hospitals. Now let me explain to y'all what that means in real time. Y'all would rather go to the mall and shop than go to the somewhere local. Cheryl, I appreciate the Cash App. I see you. Thank you so much. You're always so supportive. We would rather go to in a place where everybody goes than to go to some place where you would go exclusively. But I can tell you, Asian people ain't trying to hang out at any. If they can do an Asian remedy themselves, if they can doctor themselves, Asian people are going to their place. I love that quote, Jacob. He said, Ye said, it may be right, but it's not right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the issue, is that we look at things and we're not moving effectively for these things to start happening. So what happens is, I'm sure I'm not, and we're not the first people to talk about this stuff. I'm sure we're not the first people to communicate these things. I'm sure our parents and our parents' parents may have thought these things. Now, you say to yourself, if they thought these things, why are we talking about it? Why aren't these things already happening? Because that's all we have been doing, is talking. And we're a generation of doers. And if we truly are, then let's start getting the job done. We got more millionaires and more billionaires, more able-bodied people, more people in position of power, more people in positions of control, that we can make some of these adjustments happen. If there are any of you out there in the HR department, figure it out. Y'all know what I'm saying. Figure it out. If any of y'all got good jobs out there, man, ask around. Say, if y'all know somebody capable, man, there's some job positions here that can afford you dental and some other benefits and a 401 and all this kind of stuff. I can get you in. I can get you the conversation, but you got to do the work. Yeah, that's dope. They would rather go. What did she say? They would rather go to the mall and shop than the mom and pops. Yep. We know Trump not right, but we're advocating for, but not Umar. We know he not 100 because he's black. No, Latanya, here's the difference, right? We're advocating for Trump because Trump is going to disseminate the truth, and he is giving a conversation on a national level that matters. If Dr. Umar isn't getting it off the ground, yes, part of it is trust. I can tell you right now, a lot of us don't trust each other. And his background is a little sketchy in certain areas that makes people raise a red flag. Now, not saying that Donald Trump's isn't sketchy either, but there is a huge distrust when it comes to that, right? I say to you, when you have a person like that, I love a lot of Dr. Umar's conversation. I do. I think he comes from a great place. I think he wants what we all want, right? When you have a person like that, the issue is they're journeying alone. It's like that, and no knock against New York people, but when that New York dude that be trying to get over on you come talking, he be talking fast and slick. And you be like, bro, I'm straight. I'm cool. Thanks, man. But when it comes to like a Dr. Umar or somebody like that, like, yeah, absolutely, Latanya, he has to align himself in the same way I said about Kanye. He has to align himself with somebody that people absolutely trust, that people will get behind, because we try to do this leadership thing on our own. We see, there were a panel of dope people that were with Dr. Martin Luther King. We know that Malcolm X didn't move alone either, and that's why they were so easy to follow and to listen to and to stand behind. But we get these people, these Kanyes, these Kyries, and these Umars. They should not be moving alone. They should they got to have people align with them. And that to me is always going to be the problem. They're easy targets when they're standing alone, but as a group, it's difficult to knock the whole group. That's all I'm saying. And you're right, though. We do hold each other. We hold each other to a crazy different extreme. We absolutely do. And that's something that we need to break through. Because just as you said that, the comparison between Trump and Umar, there really is no difference other than I expect more out of Dr. Umar. I require more out of Dr. Umar than I require out of Trump. And that is not right. That is not right. That is something that we all need to revisit, is requiring more out of our black counterparts than we do out of the rest of the world. And we need to dive into that. You know what I'm saying? Nah, you're absolutely right, Latanya. And what I may need to do is read the Jim Crow laws again, because that is not a thing. That is something that did not come from where we come from. Think about this. There was a point where we had no options but to support each other, but to learn from those people in the community, but to listen to those people in our community. There's a distance that was created. There's a divide that was created there. There's a distrust that was built. And we have to go back in history and say, when did we stop trusting each other so much that we decided we would trust other people? Now, I know integration was a huge part of that. So I know that's an area I can start from there and dial it back. But that's really where the conversation is at. At what point, what up, Spooky? What point did we decide that trusting you wasn't enough just off the strength? Yeah, everything good. Me and Cortez has got to have a conversation. I felt like he didn't protect the crew, or me, more importantly, when I was in that situation. I'll explain it to you later. But that's my whole thing, right? What up, Lawrence? Is we got to dial it back and figure out where the distrust happened, and then start exposing that. Say, this is why y'all do this. It's not your fault. We need to admonish one another from those things that were bigger than us, because a lot of this crazy. It's not crazy. The system of that we're in. The system that we're in. No, we're not talking about the police. We're more talking about, Lawrence, about why we as people don't trust each other, and that is not a construct that we came up with, but somebody actually did come up with this construct. It's definitely psychological, LaTanya, and that's why I said you got to dial it back to find out where did this stem from, and when did it start happening. And I can tell you unequivocally that the notion that integration was the way to go was part of it, because they had to make us believe that we could not do the things we wanted to do together. We complained about the disparity in education, but not thinking to ourselves that maybe we don't need to learn things the way that they want to teach things. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's the bigger conversation, is that maybe we didn't need to learn all the stuff they wanted to teach. And even to this day, maybe we shouldn't be sending our kids out to learn somebody else's truth. Maybe we have to start figuring out how to educate our kids differently, because they think differently, and their exposure and their life journey is going to be different no matter what standard is put before them. Evidence of this is when your kid goes to test, that they don't really do, a lot of kids don't do very well on tests because of the structure of who they are in their lives. That's not how it really works. So they don't show up for those events. They could do the body of the work, but understand how this was me, and I'm sorry. Now, as I speak about it, it becomes more clear. I was so disenchanted with what they were trying to teach me in school that I would check out. I would check out mentally. And I realize now in later that it's because I caught on that this was not about me, nor was it for me, and that it didn't make sense. One of my worst classes, and I don't know about y'all, but the worst class for me ever in school was social studies. I hated social studies. I hated them trying to tell me about a past that, hey, first off, I couldn't change, and I wasn't a part of, and I'm not responsible for. But I hated the fact that it just didn't make sense. It didn't add up. And then when you heard the story from your grandparents or your parents, you're like, yo, they don't say that in school. They didn't tell me that. You know what I'm saying? Tasha said, testing is poor for me because I work with many distractions. Indeed. Like, the focus that it takes to just hone in on one thing, especially if it's not a truth that aligns itself with you, is hard. Right, DJ Dub? Isn't it difficult? Like, I know social studies is the worst class ever for a kid that thinks outside of the box and does the research. Social studies and history has never really included us in its fullness. It's always a glimpse into some negativity stuff. It ain't never been the triumphs. No history book that I ever saw talked about the black inventor. It never talked about being the first to do double open heart surgery, or conjoining twins, doing the first surgery. You know what I mean? I've been good, Contagious. I don't hear those conversations or see them in that we came with the stop sign and all the other inventions. Like, why do I want to study a history that doesn't include me in the light that's going to make me feel good about myself? And now they're trying to change it up because the information, this is the thing. I'm going to have to write it down. We got to have that conversation. I'm sorry, y'all be having to write this stuff down. Good and bad about technology. We're going to have that conversation. The good and bad about technology. Because the more we learn, the more we have access, the more they try to take it away from us now. That's right, Jacob. They don't put that logic together. Jacob said we invented 95% of the things because we were the ones working. What people don't understand is if you're in the experience, this is why experience is key for all y'all out there that are just sitting behind y'all computers and everything. Thank you so much, Contagious. Experience is going to be greater than reading that book and then and typing on these computers and searching on Google. Experience allows you to put your face in the place, your hands on the product, all that, and you can understand better how it functions so that you can make a better version of it or change the game and do something different. That was us because we were the ones out there doing all the things and marching and putting all these constructs together. We understood the pain points. Great inventions are made out of lack of having something or solving a problem. Well, who else is going to solve the problem than the person who's working with the things that are causing the problems? This is simple logic, but we don't take that into our conversations as we move forward. We don't use that as a point of reference. And that's what you're absolutely right. That the people out there who have control will take the credit and not give credit to those people who actually did the work. And that's the part that is disheartening. Our investments are often stolen because we didn't understand patents. True story. Yep, true story, Jacob. Because our people worked in the houses and did all the stuff, we learned how to invent things that were beneficial in household items. It's such a disparaging thing that. So you understand, Latanya said our ideas were stolen because we didn't understand patent. The crazy part about that is we didn't even create the word patent, nor did we create the fact that you had to have a patent. You know what I'm saying? That's where the disparity comes in. Like we don't create laws, we don't create policy, we don't have control. What up, Rebel? We don't have any of those things that are our constructs. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Somebody else created it so that they can say, because you don't speak the language, I can take your design because I speak the language and I know how to fill out this paperwork. I know how to handle this segment of business. It's still like that today. They make it so difficult for the easiest conversation. Like when you say, hey, I just need to file a motion to get this stuff, but you got to go through all this paperwork to file a motion. But I'm telling you what I need to do. It's super simple. Like those are the things that that this society has made. So they say that you got to go get a certain level of education to even discuss certain things. Like you can't be a lawyer, although you can understand logic and how things should be presented. But because you can't say it in the way that they designed that it should be said, you're exempt from being a part of the process. Exactly. You got to have permission to vote. Come on, man. These are the things that I'm talking about, that when we bought into the system. Exactly, River. This is how they got us to stop speaking our own language and learn English. And that is our educational system. So the challenge that is set before us, and again, because it's such a hard thing to talk about, because this requires an investment of time. This requires an investment of consistency and determination to change. A lot of us want things to change automatically, but what we're talking about are things that have been in place for decades. So that instant change isn't going to happen. But I can put in front of y'all some things to think about that you may want to consider doing. One, I said this the other day, go learn a language from your native country. Collectively in America, we can all say the African American in America, they've all decided collectively that they're going to learn Igbo or Swahili. We can collectively say we choose that language, and then we all start learning that language so that we can speak it not only here, but when we go to Africa. But we need to be able to have a conversation that they're going to have to either learn themselves or they're going to have to decipher. I hate being in places where people start doing that. Remember, I don't know for any of you who caught it. There were a few days ago, maybe a week ago, I was in a Jewish room defending Kanye and Kyrie and having that conversation, and they just broke out speaking Hebrew, and I was like, oh, what the hell? What are they saying? Yeah, research the top 5 languages of Africa, and then collectively, we need to all decide this is the language we're going to learn here in America. This is the African language that we choose to learn. And hopefully it'll have a dialect that can get us through many countries in Africa. But we need to learn one. We need to push for it, because the only other way you get to learn is you got to go to college to learn it. You got to go to college you have to go to an advanced learning in order to learn your native tongue. How crazy is that, yo? How crazy is that you got to go back to you got to go to college to learn African? Does that make sense? Does it make sense that you got to go to college to learn African? Yeah, River City, we're saying that. We understand Africans speak hundreds of different languages, but we know they speak English. That's one. But we need to find another one. We need to find another language that is of some of the native areas. You know what I'm saying? I mean, again, Latanya, I don't think we do know, but what I do know is that in the next year or two, you need to be able to speak to somebody in African. I mean, in Igbo or Swahili or one of those languages. No, what I'm saying is that's how they have it set up. Now, you can learn any way you want to. You know what I mean? We can learn any way and anyhow, you know what I'm saying, by any means necessary. I'm sure you can learn via Rosetta Stone. You can learn via YouTube University. I'm sure there's several ways to learn. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying to you is that they don't introduce it in the schooling system if you're going by that. They don't introduce it to you until you're in college for the school system. But yeah, so amongst other things, what I said was learn one of the dialects of the African language. That's it. I'm just saying learn one. And then it should make it easier. You know what I'm saying? True story, Joetta. True story, Joetta. You typically y'all learn one type of Spanish. You learn one type of French. And English has, you learn English and then you learn slang, or they call it Ebonics. But other than that, most countries have one central dialect. And so when it comes to the African language, maybe we need to start visiting. I like that suggestion. Tashi said, the top 5. I would believe that the top 5, that each of the other countries know at least the top 5, so that no matter where you travel, they can communicate. I don't think you go to each country and people don't understand what the hell you're saying. But I also respect and understand that most people in Africa learn 4 and 5 different languages. Like she said, most people in Africa learn Swahili, Arabic, French. And what she has as the top 5 is Swahili, Arabic, Yoruba, French, Afrikaans, Sesotho, Setswana. Those are a few. But I'm sure they learn Hebrew as well, as that has more of a religious connotation to it. So if you take those things in consideration, learn the Swahili, maybe Arabic and Hebrew and French, I think you have the bases covered. You know what I'm saying? But these are merely just suggestions of how to get back to, to close some of the gaps, but give us some things that will cultivate us here even more in the area, in this nation that we live in, and maybe get back to really getting that together. If anybody knows somebody who has gone through the practice of sovereignty, put me in touch with them. What up, Brenda? If you guys know anybody who has a real discussion about sovereignty, I want to hear it. I every time I think about learning these languages and our independence in this United States, I be thinking to myself, being sovereign has a huge part to do with it. You know what I mean? Being sovereign has a huge part to do with it. The challenge of breaking away from this United States corporation is that to be sovereign, it requires a lot, but you can do it. And a lot of people outside of even the black community are sovereign citizens. You know what I'm saying? What up, Vivian? So I'm saying to you all, if you all know somebody who has journeyed down the road of sovereignty or knows like a blueprint for it, for the conversation, I think that's the reason why it doesn't happen, is because people are unfamiliar with the practice and process. And it's been something that's always been in my head. It's like, yo, how do you unplug from the matrix if you don't know how to unplug from the matrix? You know what I'm saying? Ron, LA said he's doing it. Okay, then you keep me abreast. You know what I'm saying? I need to understand better what that means and what that looks like and what the benefits are and what the drawbacks are. Nobody has talked about this. And why is that? Like if we understand that our birth certificates sign us into a corporation, then you have to say, when you become of age and when you become, Swain is, okay, I'll talk to Swain. When you get to a point where you are free from that, what does that mean? Like we don't hear this conversation, but it's such an important conversation if you're trying to break away from the machine. Like if you're trying to be an individual and not against anything, but just an individual within this construct. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I need to hear both sides, Tashi. Like, you're right. Most times people only talk about, their ability to travel and to do these different things. But tell me what the drawback is. Are you able to get a pension? Are you able to still get paid from the situation and be protected from the situation? Or do you lose all protections? Are you out here on your own? And what are the benefits, but what are the drawbacks as well, if there are some? You know what I'm saying? How does that affect you when you travel internationally? Are you protected? You know what I'm saying? Or is it just you against all those different people? You know what I'm saying? Those are the conversation. What up, Miss Mickey? You late. But anyway, those are some of the things that I want to hear about and add to the conversation. I'll do my due diligence as well. You know how I am, y'all. Let me put that down here. So, I'll do my due diligence and poke my head around and ask some questions. Listen, this has been an amazing live, y'all. It's a two-parter, so expect me to post one part on the podcast. Of course, all of this will be available on YouTube as one complete conversation. It's 2 hours and 15 minutes. But I split it up for the podcast. One part is the beginning part that we talked about Kanye, we talked about Donald Trump, we talked about crypto, and then we jumped into the second half. We're talking about Jeff Bezos and a whole bunch of everything else. You know what I'm saying? Sovereign is being self-sufficient, is living without needing the system. You're right, so 100, but I want to know what that means on the flip side too. You know what I'm saying? We have people who want to come and take out their birth certificates from our records. Not possible in Connecticut. Outside of no tax paying, what else? Yeah, we need those questions and those answers. Miss Mickey, why was you late, man? What's up? We need to figure those things out and get those questions answered. For everybody that tuned in, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Our YouTube is growing. I love that. Thanks to LA, man. I appreciate you doing that. I know LA, y'all don't understand. LA went, and I saw on my feed that LA might have typed in at least no less than 30 or 40 names for people to come into the live, and a lot of them did that. And I didn't know how important that was as far as sharing that way. Okay, my bad. I will. We there. Yeah, it was amazing, Jacob. I appreciate you. You jumped in from the gate, and I appreciate that because your conversation and perspective is welcomed here, and so is everybody else's. So, for those of you who have liked and shared, always appreciate y'all. For those who have gone above and beyond, LA's Miss Cheryl, a few other people who cash apped. Thank y'all for that. For those of you who are gifted, thank y'all. I appreciate it. For y'all, Beck bought badges and a couple other people bought badges. I appreciate all that. So listen, man, as we keep this conversation going, remember, it isn't just this conversation. If y'all only pay attention to this conversation and don't go back and watch the other videos and stuff, it's like a fart in the wind. And what we're trying to do is create something stronger than that, something that sticks around a little bit longer. So when you get a chance, take some clips from past YouTube conversations, and you guys can share that. And then what that will do is allow people to click on it, and it will lead them to the full conversation. That way you don't have to repeat yourself, but you can double down on it for other people to get involved with it as well. I appreciate all the likes. I appreciate all the shares. We did really well today, you guys. We'll be back tomorrow. I'll keep y'all abreast of when we're going to have this other conversation, but I definitely want us to talk about building, building. If y'all don't walk away with anything else, just understand we need to build, and that we're trying to get things together for this Black History Month that I would love. Not trying. We're getting things together for this Black History Month to truly be historical. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. All those who came on time and those who came late. I appreciate y'all. DM me, Miss Mickey, so I can follow you back. I appreciate y'all, and we'll talk. It's always good to interact. Yeah, definitely. DJ Monte, man, I'm just shutting down, but you can catch the replay on YouTube. It's my name on YouTube or whatnot. But I appreciate everybody checking in. I got in a little late, but we've been on for 2.5 hours, just about. So I appreciate y'all. Catch the replays. They're super duper dope. No replays are gonna be on any other format than YouTube and on my Spotify podcast. All right. To be continued, y'all. Never goodbye. It's always to be continued. Later, Instagram. All right, TikTokers. My YouTube family, I appreciate y'all. Listen, I do this every day, y'all, so show up every day, and we'll have an extended conversation. All right, I'm out, y'all.